Welcome back. That was all about the Youth Leadership Program. I'm here tonight with our guest, Dr. Hanan Al-Mutawa. She's the owner of Education Consortium of RBK. Hello and welcome to our show for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. And can you start off with telling us more about when RBK first started?
Well, RBK initiated in 2014 and we got ourselves a building and furnished it and got all the requirements and resources to set off in September 2015, and we got all the first intake of students in January 2016. And of course now for the academic year as well.
Yes, and why did you start kindergarten? Like, why did you focus on having a kindergarten in the beginning and the special name of RBK as well?
Yeah, well, Royal Britannia Kindergarten is a British curriculum style of kindergarten where we actually teach curriculum within the structured play. We've got qualified teachers, and we feel that at this stage of learning, the foundation stage of learning, is the prime early learning that children require different skills, and in a way that skills that will allow them to develop their abilities for growth in the different areas of science, technology, engineering, maths, arts, creative arts, PE and sports, to be able to give Kuwait and serve Kuwait and their own countries if they were expats, those skills as they grow older.
Very nice. Now, what makes it so unique in a way that this kindergarten is distinguished from all the different kindergartens here in Kuwait?
It is rather unique, the kindergarten. The children are learning through different activities that allow them to develop those skills. We talked earlier about doing the English National Curriculum, and the foundation stage was abbreviated as EYFS. We have every subject has its own learning area. So the children are not learning just like those skills within that one set classroom.
Can you give us like different examples of
Yes.
the different subjects and the examples of how the activities would be engaged with the kids themselves?
Exactly. So we teach science, technology, engineering, arts, maths, all through the English language curriculum. We take example as science. We actually have a whole environment related to science. We have a hydroponics, which is teaching children gardening using water. And we have also fish, where they can see live fish and they feed the fish, and it's all sort of, like training them on how to use science, botanics, biology, chemistry, mixing the water with the oxygen and the carbon, and the understanding the techniques of chemistry. And then we take it to cooking and in the kitchen. So they grow their fruit and vegetables in the hydroponics, they take it to the kitchen and they start learning skills as in cutting and cooking and preparing
food. So it's
food.
all related.
And
so
then
all
nutrition,
the different
exactly.
classes.
So there's your science element of it. And then we talk about maths. So we have a whole engineering lab, technology and engineering, where they're learning maths through structure and building jigsaws and building robots, to extending that to learning numbers and subtractions, and extending that into music, because normally they say if you're good at maths, you're also good at music, and vice versa. So they learn how to use the keys, how to play an instrument, so they're working on both sides of their brain.
Very nice. And how has this special way of learning helped improve the ability of those kids, and how is it like when they go back home? What do they tell their parents? How do they feel? And does it last longer in their memory as well?
Oh, definitely. I think children learn by doing, as we all do. We all love colors and pictures and activities, and when they go home they talk about not necessarily what have you done today that I actually drew a picture just. No, it's actually what did the experience teach them. So they're working with different resources. It's learning by doing. So if I'm using the example of the art together with the science, they go to the hydroponics, they water their plant, they can take that plant home. But in the classroom, they can go take it to another level, whereas they actually get to draw the plant. They get to paint it in the color green. Maybe not use green, but use different resources that has a green element and do collage work in green. So that whole activity of building and structure is taken on to different multi-skills. They go home and they talk about that experience. And of course, we enhance the learning by taking the children outside the classroom space.
Very
They
nice.
get to go to a Shaheed Park, as an example, to actually see grass. We have grass. We're the only public school that has, quite a large amount of meterage of grass and trees. We have a beautiful olive tree, Oliver Twist we called it.
Nice.
And it's 110 years old. But they get to go to places like Shaheed Park to see real trees, touch the tree, the barks, and then get to draw it. So it's bringing the outside in, bringing nature into the classroom. And that's what children need nowadays, is actually learning, but through play, through structured play.
Very interesting. I believe a lot of kids would just enjoy learning.
Yes.
They want to learn more and more, and even go to school every single day and
we're
not
very
miss out.
fortunate. The parents
Yes.
are a great asset, because it's what comes from the parent. When the parent believes in what you're doing and sees that it's actually delivering that message, the children get encouraged, and it's our duty then to make sure that we provide the environment suitable for learning for these children for today.
That brings me to my next question. How do you get the parents involved, and how can they continue on what you've taught the kids at school, at home?
Well, on multiple levels. I mean, what we're very sort of fortunate that the parents are involved. This younger generation want to be involved in the learning of their children. So we start basically from the communication between home and school. So we have our e-learning platform. The parents are able to see online how their children are progressing through the electronic diaries of the children. Then, of course, when we talk about health and nutrition, we provide the lunch services at the school. And before that, we actually get the parents to come in and we teach them about nutrition, the importance of putting the right food into their children. So that's induction time. Getting them involved in activities. We have like a careers fair where we're talking about, say, a theme of transport, and we get one of the parents is a pilot. He'll come in dressed up in his pilot suit and he comes and talks about airplanes. So that in another way involves the parents. Then we have family assemblies where the family are invited, mum and daddy and grandparents if they like, to come to the show to get to see their child perform in front of them. And they get little certificates and awards. We have sports days. We have another activity coming up at the end of the month, which is our open day. We, of course, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we like to get the parents involved in the multiple activities. So you get continuous little activities through
Very
the
nice.
month.
Right now on the
school.
screen, I believe there are different images of the different involvements and activities and some of the classwork as well. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, it's very important that the child is active through their school day, because it's, their mind is active to get them involved. Otherwise, they get bored and they get hyper. They then start becoming mischievous.
Nice. So is there like a ballet class? We just saw something about ballet.
We get ballet teaches you different stuff. Teaches you posture, teaches you, it's a discipline of its own. It's beautiful, goes with music. So the children are able to sort of stretch out and do all the various exercises. Yeah. We have the activities for children off RBK during the daytime all the way up till 3 o'clock. And of course, after school, from 3 o'clock onwards, we encourage the children to bring their brothers and sisters along and get involved in the activities.
Very interesting.
Yes.
A lot of people would say, maybe parents would say that they can't involve their kids in after-school activities because they feel that they need to study and focus on other things and they don't have the exact time. Is that always the case, or should they be involved in more activities throughout the week?
Well, I really feel children do a lot of work at school, and if the school environment is giving the child the opportunity to do all of what they need to do within the school program, it will allow the child to do all their extracurricular activities in arts and sports and music after school. And an active child, a child who's involved, and this is now absolute fact, a child who's involved more in these extracurricular activities is actually very smart at school, not less smart, because the mind is constantly active, constantly invigorated with different skills and styles of learning using both sides of the mind, the brain. It gives them the opportunity to do better. And they time manage themselves better. And I really feel it comes from the parent. If the parent is active, gets involved in sports, loves and is passionate what they do, the child wants to do exactly the same. And it's only about an hour or 2 hours a day. And that
And
develops
what are some of the
a
different
hobby.
activities that you have after school, the different activities?
Oh my goodness, we have at the moment 17 activities running.
Wow.
We've got karate for different levels, we've got wall climbing, we've got parkour, which is something that the children, the younger boys absolutely love it to bits. Gymnastics, we've got a full-fledged gym. We've got ballet, we've got yoga, we've got rhythmic ballet, we've got music, all at, using beautiful instruments, real instruments, not the plastic stuff. Cooking and baking and understanding nutrition, reading. We have every day we've got reading club. The teachers who are, and the trainers and the coaches who are on site are all fully qualified and level to standards. So all our courses are standardized by the British National Curriculum, be it the Royal Ballet, be it the National Gymnastics Society of the UK. So it's not, even the gentleman who is running the parkour is actually a national athlete in parkour.
Very nice.
Yes.
So they're all well certified and well trained to be and give those children the different activities they need to learn. Yes. Can you tell us more about the long-term run for RBK?
We're in the process now of extending our license to bring up a school, and then hopefully like a primary school and a secondary school as well, because that's the natural transition for anybody opening up a kindergarten. They aspire to that their children then go on to the mainstream schools where you can give the children the best of the best, and that's what we promise to deliver.
Very nice. Now, through RBK, you're trying to create a better generation in the future. So how could we build a great and well-responsible new generation for the future?
Oh yes, it's definitely something that we all have to do. Is giving children opportunities and using resources and skills that are not naturally available to them. We're actually building children for jobs that don't actually exist. If we're looking at, you'll get in the past, if we were saying in the early 80s, 90s, when I was developing, if somebody said to me, if I had gone to my parents and said, I want to become a graphic designer, they'll turn around and look at me and say, you're going to be what? Well, graphic designer. And that is actually IT with art, when you look at it. Right now, we're developing for jobs that don't exist, especially in petroleum and science. Kuwait is fundamentally a science-based environment. We need to create opportunities for children in those environments in relations to science, green energy, environment. So by using our hydroponics and our green environments within the school, we're educating children in understanding the environment around them. And that's the sort of environments that we're trying to create for them.
Very nice. And at a really young age, is it time for the parents to know maybe what their kids are into, maybe some sort of different activities, because you've got a lot of different activities, what they like, and maybe see a profession, like a potential profession in the future where they could work more on that? Yes, there is a stereotype with the grandfather was a doctor, the father's a doctor, the child would be a doctor. Or a lawyer, or that sort of stereotyping. I think it's important at this age is to expose the child to multiple skills, and from that you're actually developing a child's character, and from character you develop that leadership. Is what you want, is for them to take ownership of the skill that they want or the hobby that they want to then develop it into a career. And I think if the child then finds that element of be it I'm more mathematics aligned or I'm more music aligned, why can't we have both? Why can't we become a great cook in the kitchen, be able to do karate and do well at school in physics and mathematics? And that sort of child nowadays is the child that when they go into secondary school and then on there they go and get interviewed to go to universities, the universities want that rounded student that has the multiple skills. And I think that's our role now, based at Royal Britannia Kindergarten, is we're developing a rounded student, a student who is able to go into any field of their choice based on the skills that have been and opportunities that have been open to them. Yes. You said a great key word, which is leaders and leadership. So at RBK, you're trying to make and create more leaders in the future. How does the parents as well help in doing so, and what should they do as well at home?
I think it's very important for parents to give the child the opportunity to speak for himself. Get them to become more independent, looking after their own resources and not become dependent on a caretaker or on anyone else in the household. If they are, like, normally the understanding in the family, if you are the eldest child, then you're given those utmost responsibility. If you're the youngest, you are treated more, you know, like a baby in the family, even if you're older. I feel it's important that every child is given that unique responsibility, that uniqueness of taking ownership and being accountable for their decisions. So let's just say we agree as a family we're going to go out. So each week, the child, one of the children in the family, get to select that place and make the decision, and everybody respects that. So that taking ownership of what their activity they're going to take, after thinking about it, and then being accountable. If somebody says, oh, we didn't like this outing, then the other person would make sure that they would choose appropriately. It's those skills that you teach that would help the child to be more confident and more, you know, like just say driven to do something, rather than wait back for somebody else to lead and they just follow.
Yes, it's very important for both the parents and the teachers at school to build their character and boost their self-confidence as well. Can you tell us more about the similarities from your generation and this generation, and like some of the differences when it comes to the education?
What do you mean by this generation?
The generation before and now, we see that they're very involved, they're using a lot of technology, they're very smart, they know a lot of different things at a really young age.
Oh yes, that's right. Just when you said this generation, that generation, I'm thinking, yes, I must be from that generation. Yes, no, I think it's very important for school owners to realize that they need to move with the times. We are preparing children for, as I was saying, for jobs that don't quite exist, that are not being created yet. But the universities are making sure that these children have to be ready for the job space. Technology is embedded into the curriculum, it has to be. And it's not just having the fancy gadgets of a smart board, it's actually utilizing the smart board to be part of the learning. Talking about books, yes, we have the physical books, but we have the e-books, and how could we take it further? Using art, when we say we color and paint and draw, is actually take that into iPads. Now the new you know, I'm not going to sort of market certain
different
products.
Apps for
different
them to
laptops
use,
that the children can use, and they can see the development of how art and graphics could be used within that one subject area. Language, to be able to use multiple languages. It's not just speaking English or Arabic nowadays that makes you competent. It's actually being able to speak multiple languages and take you beyond borders. And that's what we're trying to offer our children, is the different skills and readiness for the job workplace.
Very interesting. And how are you at RBK empowering women in education as well?
Well, the heart and soul of our education within the RBK is women, because it's run by women. And kindergartens across Kuwait employ women fundamentally. And to be honestly, they're the best at what they do at our school. They're fully qualified and trained within the curriculum that they're providing for the children, and they're facilitators. They're not teachers, we don't call them teachers, because they give the opportunities to the child, and the child is the one who is doing the work with them. And of course we involve the women there with our moms. A lot of moms give up their time and they come in and do some volunteer work. And we involve a lot of Kuwaitis. A lot of Kuwaitis have joined us, which is fantastic for us, because the youth of Kuwait are now interested in choosing education as a passion, as a hobby, and they love teaching their nephews and nieces, and now they're coming into the workspace and enjoying it. Especially in ours, we're very fortunate. We have quite a few Kuwaiti young ladies who have joined us. So for RBK, it's rather special. We have majority of women.
That's always great to hear, I've got to say, because of course I'm a female as well, so I'm all about the empowerment of women. Can you tell us more about how you're being supported with the Ministry of Education on the fact the private sector, especially for the education-wise, and there is the 2020 strategy that you wanted to comment upon. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, the 2020 strategy should incorporate both the private and the government sector. I feel that the government sector schools deserve the attention that they're getting, and it's all kudos to them. Great, the minister is really doing his efforts, or making a lot of effort in that, or strides in those developing the public school education. However, they've fallen short with their attention towards the private school with regards to giving them the support. They look at the private sector school as competition, which is great because competition is healthy. However, they do not provide the support that we're looking for with regards to looking areas of development. We do not get subsidized, right? On the contrary, they actually draw us back. They try and cap our fees. They put rules and regulations that don't make sense. It's an open market. If you look at the health sector and other sectors in Kuwait and the trading sectors, it's all about giving opportunity. The private sector schools are, the quality of the students coming through are top notch. They go to the top universities, and those universities come back and look at Kuwait in a very good way, thinking, my goodness, this is a quality student coming through. They're actually coming through from the private sector, private Arabic schools and private British and American other schools. But we're not given that kudos. We just had recently an event for the teachers,
Can you tell us more about that event?
And the private Arabic schools are, like selected. Yet the quality owners and managers of the British curriculum and the French and the American schools, what about them? Why are they not recognized for what they're giving? They put out the best of the best from their own resources. They are really second to none, the schools that you walk into. Yet the minister and his team need to, I really feel, they need to turn around and appreciate what has been done, because we are almost 45 to 50% of strength on equal to the government, yet we don't get subsidized. We get different type of attention.
But hopefully in the future we'd see more support from the Ministry of Education.
We insist on it, to be honestly. We insist on it, and I think as a sector, we give our best, we should be recognized for that.
Definitely. Can you tell us how anyone could contact you?
Well, for Royal Britannia Kindergarten, our abbreviations is RBK, and on Instagram we're very active. We've got all the children's photographs, so it's RBK EDU. EDU standing for education. We've got our website, www.rbk.education. There isn't a .com after it, so it's just www.rbk.education.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hanan, for being here tonight with us and sharing all those useful information about the new way of teaching.
That's lovely. Thank you very much for having us and meeting.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We're going to cut to our next report, which is all about the Ministry of Health launching its retirees' health insurance law. So let's check that out together.